service will begin in just a moment, so take the time to silence your cell phone. We appreciate you and thank you so much for your cooperation.
Oh my goodness, I just, doesn't it feel good to have Reverend Wanda Nera Butler up here again? Yeah, sure does. Well, welcome to the most innovative, electrifying, energetic community that exists, and wonder why that is. You wonder why that is? Now that you ask me, it's really because of all of you. It's the collective consciousness that has been coming here year and year and year and year. It's the individuation of spirit. Like we say all the time, God is impersonal, but yet personal to those who make a choice to believe in something greater than themselves. And that is the greatest gift of all, isn't it? When you understand that? Yes. And so we greet you in the consciousness of life, and I invite you to stand as we honor our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, who created the most beautiful writing that is like a daily prayer. If you aren't using it, I would invite you to do so, and you can Google it or Safari it, whatever you're into. The great invocation, shall we? We are now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law. Like unto what we're talking about each week with ask and it is given, right? The law is always working. It's not the law that's broken. It's how you are using it, yes? So at this time, if you are with us for the first time, we would like to acknowledge you and thank you for being here. If you would just stand long enough for the ushers to, we're not going to give you a microphone or ask you to talk. Hi, Linda from Connecticut. But our ushers are going to give you a beautiful bead, all right, and a information card. You know, everything comes with just a slight agenda. So we'd like to know where you're from and to be able to stay in touch with you. And if this is the place for you, we invite you to come again, of course. And we always say, come to a place, give it 3 or 4 times before you decide. Okay? I had invited up. So. Never know. Here is not like your typical church on the hill. And we don't do exactly the same thing every week, do we, guys? Like, help us. Half the time, I don't know what's going on, which is good. So that being said, if you are online, we welcome you. We greet you with an open heart, and we appreciate you. And there's a free gift for you, and the information is right there in front of you. And so let us do our affirmation about being home. For it's not just a guest for the day, but it's the guest within us. Every day we have guests wanting to come live in our sanctuary home, yes? And who decides where they live? We do. So we honor you for your presence today. May this be your first step towards being home. May you find an awareness of healing, opening your heart, moving from a me to a we world, and become fully engaged in your life. We see you. Wow. And speaking of being seen, many of you are aware of the ILI created by myself, Dr. Aileen, and the Board of Trustees. And we have been committed to ILI for quite some time, even in the midst of the COVID. And so we have 10 students. We have 3 that became ordained on Friday evening. You can watch it on YouTube. They've been on a path of integrity, of developing themselves, of creating their wholeness. That's what we believe is spiritual leadership. Not necessarily what you knew, what book you read, who you quote, but at the end of everyday life, how do you live? How do you treat your colleagues? How do you talk about your spiritual leader? How do you maintain an energy field that warrants spiritual leadership? That's ultimately what it's all about, to move from your knowing to your knowingness, yes? So we have 3 that we honored Friday night. The one and only Reverend Sandra Kitt, who is now ordained. Yes. than all of that. Reverend Carolyn Ballinger, who's been on this journey to be a minister for 30 years, her family said. So lesson is, with every idea, it takes as long as it takes. Yes? And our wonderful, wonderful Indira Grace from Kansas City, Lee Summit, Reverend, Unity Village. She is on faculty at Unity Worldwide Ministries as part of their spiritual education program, and she became ordained with us. That's the way Unity is. So it is. Let's bring out our voices again. You ready for a little bit more?
Another song that you can sing along with. Gotta learn fast. Here we go. Put your hands together. The greatness of our God.
The greatness of our God is inconceivable.
The love that God shows is unconditional. The power of our God is unbeatable. Great. Let's sing it again. The greatness of our God is inconceivable. The love that God shows, is unconditional. The power of our God, is unbeatable. Great is the God we serve. God is great. God is great. And greatly to be praised. And greatly to be praised. It's the part to sing. God is great. And greatly to be praised. And greatly to be praised. All right, back to the top. Here we go. The greatness of our God. The greatness of our God is inconceivable. The love that God shows, is unconditional. The power of our God. God we serve. God is great and greatly to be praised. And greatly to be praised. Oh, our God is great and greatly
God is great? So, let's start with the most important question in the room today. How's my hair look today? Maybe that's not the most important question. So we'll go to the next one. Who here is really good at manifesting what you want in life? That's wonderful. Because for anybody else who maybe is not quite there, and how do you know if you're there? You know you're there if you're living your life in joy. If you're joyous. If somebody is always joyous, you know that they're living what they want to be living. Now, the one way that you start manifesting what you want, the most important first step, is that you stop complaining. Just stop. Just never, ever, 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 never again complain. Ever. Ever. I'm not directing this to my wife. Stop complaining. You know, what we're learning in Ask and It Is Given is that when we put our attention on something, we're asking for it. New thought actually is asking. When we have a thought about something, we're putting our attention on it. So we're asking for it. Now, are we asking in a way that we're saying that we have it? By putting our attention on having something? Are we putting our attention on not having? On lack? And that's our choice, because this God that Temple mentioned, this law that is impersonal, is going to give it to us either way. Because we're so loved that we get the kingdom the way that we believe it to be. It says, very simply, that the highest good that we can conceive, the highest good that we can imagine, should be affirmed in our everyday life. Meaning that's what we should be hearing in our word, in our thoughts, in our story. Anybody have a friend in life whose story is always about complaining? And it's important that we don't get wrapped up into that. I mean, there are people in this world who, they go have a bad meal, they want to go back there and have that same meal again, so they can complain about it, and then they go back. And when it's very simple in New Thought, is that you order something different. You order a different meal. And we have that opportunity every day. And what are we going to hear in our story? The story that we're telling, our Thursday morning prayer call, we focus on stories. Paying attention to the story that people are telling us. As practitioners, we focus on the story that people are bringing to us. And then we want a new thought. We want a new story. We want that new story to become dominant. The only reason that anybody in life is not living what they want to be living is that their old story is in the way. Their old story is still the dominant one. We want this new story. We want this story about what we want, what feels good, what is exciting. When we want to get into that, that's my joy, that's my story, that's all you hear from me. And then you know that I am living what I want because you feel the joy in me. You hear the joy. And then you can watch it just come forth. Because unfortunately, we're responsible for everything in our life. Ask and it is given. On the given end, nothing has been given to us that we didn't ask for. Nothing has been given to us by any. There's no, we say it at the end of the service every week. There's one power. When what do we say? I am the power. There's one life, one presence. That's me. I am that center of my universe. What I ask for, whether I'm asking in a way that I am affirming that I have it, and when I do that, it is given to me as I believe. So listen, be conscious. That's all we're asking. That's all Abraham asked is. That's all anybody in New Thought asks is be conscious. And if the old thought is giving you what you want, then I bet you're already in joy. Keep it.
Thank you, Reverend Ron. Here at First Unity, outreach has always been important to us, that we are more than longing for people to come in so we can benefit from each other, but we look externally in community of different causes and different reasons. If you ever think that this community is not doing outreach, look online, social, and you will see that we would spend 20 minutes every Sunday just telling you. And the other part is we are not about tooting our own horns. But today I am going to do that because we are talking about the lives of children. And there's a saying that says, you know, many years from now it won't matter to anyone what house you lived in, car you drove, any of those things, what outfit you wore on Sunday that people want to talk about. It's about how you impacted the life of a child. That's really, you know, what it is about. And here at First Unity, we have an outreach program called Fostering Hope. And we invite people to know more about it, to investigate it, to look at it, to explore it, of any age group, whether it's a little bit as a fostering, whether it's a contribution, whether it's a space of holding, whether it's supporting someone else that's fostering or moving towards adoption, whatever it looks like. You know, people are so quick to say, oh, I can't handle those teenagers, wouldn't work for me. You know what you're saying? You haven't healed your teenager issues. For if you bring a teenager into your life, you will. So, unbeknownst to me, with the clarification, like Reverend Ron was alluding to, in my consciousness, in my acceptance, my path was not to be one of motherhood this lifetime. It was to be motherhood of spiritual community. It was to be bringing the goddess, nurturing energy between a person and God. Not necessarily between a person and me. Could be both, you see. And so that being said, I've accepted this, that I am not destined to have a child in this lifetime. Especially when I'm moved on up in the years of my maturity. You notice I did not say I was old, and I encourage you not to say the same thing about me. But on my shaman journeys, often, in the shadow and the darkness, I would be told by the archetypes in the other world reality, the baby is fine. And I would tell my teacher, God, they're talking about a baby, and I would then intellectualize it. Any of you do that? I would intellectualize it, and I would say, we're not talking about a real baby. We're talking about the experience of a baby of community, of growing and nurturing that. Unbeknownst to me, then now over 3 years ago, in the lobby was a little girl with white stockings, black patent leather shoes, and looking out in the lobby, not quite 2 years old, and I look at her and I go to her, Mommy, who is this bundle of a miracle? And she said, that's her name. I got goosebumps. I knew that was a sign. The word miracle is one of my favorite words of all times. I had it posted all over my house. Miracles are coming. I'm with miracle. I have miracle. So week after week after week, and I will not go into all of that. But in addition to that, I called an astrologer I had only talked to one time, and it had been 20-something years, and we were catching up, and I said, oh, and there's this amazing little girl in my life. She said, what's her birthday? I said, 11/12/2015. And she said, the day she was born, it was in your chart to have a child. In our awareness that we are willing or not willing to do deeply interrupts the ability to manifest all of our dreams. I became aware that most of my unconscious, notice I said unconscious, issues were between the age of birth and 6 years old. And she came to change me. So I am now a guardian to Miracle, and I am her Mama Temple. It is not what I've done for her. It's truly how she has changed my life. Miracle, please come on up. She would like to share with you something that she's been working on. Out loud.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I love you.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you restore, you give hope, every heart that is broken. Great are you, God. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you, holy. cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, God. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, God. Hey. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, God. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, God. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. You are. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, God. Great are you, God. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you. Pour out our praise to God as we prepare ourselves for prayer. As we prepare ourselves for prayer, knowing that the prayer that we do scientifically, science of mind prayer, we're recognizing the one power, the one presence that is alive here now. How can we not pour out our praise? How can we not realize that every minute of the day, every second is a miracle? Every gift that we have, every breath that we take. And as my husband Ron was preparing for his talk and we were agreeing how important community is, how important this community is here. This is our family. This is our family here. Yes. And as we were sharing, the one thing that we can do together as we are celebrating Spirit expressing, those of you that are, and those that aren't, you're still expressing Spirit. But the one thing we can do together is pray together. And as we pray, we start to remove the little Maria, the little John, the little Susie, and we go to the upper room, the higher place, the higher frequency. You know what we're talking about, that place of silence. And when we're there, we know that asking is given. We know that whatever our desires are, it's already here. It's already here. So please join me as we pray together. And I invite our ministers to join us and chaplains holding the space of the love and peace, divine, perfect order here now. Allow yourself to give yourself that breath. Give yourself that breath and circulate it, release it. Know that there is only one presence and one power. Know that. And as we together open up our hearts for this divine loving space that we're in right now, this moment, this precious moment, allow your heart to crack open. I'm here. It doesn't matter what your faith is or how you call God. It's all one power, one God. We know one family, one human family we are. And in this moment right now, I allow, silently, hear these words. I allow myself to be open to the infinite possibilities that are already there. I allow myself to de-story whatever limitations may have been there, whether I was conscious or not. I'm allowing myself in this moment right now, this precious moment, go ahead and breathe, to recognize this one power is in my heart space. Divine, loving joy, peace. So in this prayer, I hold up my family members, I hold up my friends, those that are dear to us, that may not be feeling well on the earthly plane, that may be in a suffering phase. Let us hold them up, knowing and speaking and feeling the truth for them in this, the upper chamber, the higher room, as we know God's truth here now. Divine love, peace, harmony, well-being, balance, alignment, joy, overflow our being. Radiant well-beingness already here now, feeling it, feeling it, and allowing that love now to radiate to all those that we love, going beyond the state of Florida, across the oceans, beyond the galaxies of stars. There's a love, a spark of divine love here in my heart space, and I am blessing and singing God's praises. God's praises. And we take this precious prayer, we hold it up, because we know it's already here to be realized. And we let go and say, God's will, thy will be done. I set this prayer free. Take a moment, feel that. I set this prayer free. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. Bless it, and so be it, and so be it. Come back. Thank you.
Hey, Uni, how are y'all feeling? Good, good. Happy to be here. Help me sing it.
You're not a natural being, having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being.
Spiritual being.
Living this natural experience.
You're not
a natural being.
having a what?
Having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being. Living this natural experience
Every day.
every day. When you wake,
Confess it with your mouth.
should constantly say, let me be spiritual.
Yeah.
Spiritual.
Every day of my life.
Let me be spiritual.
I wanna be spiritual.
Spiritual.
Spiritual. You're not a natural being. Having spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being. Living this natural experience. You're not a natural being. Having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being. Living this natural experience.
Every day. spiritual.
I wanna be, I wanna be, I wanna
Let me be spiritual.
I wanna discern in the spirit.
Spiritual.
Spiritual, yeah.
Let me be
I
spiritual.
wanna talk in the spirit, yeah.
Spiritual.
I wanna walk in the spirit.
Let me be spiritual.
Every single day of my life I wanna be
Spiritual.
spiritual. Love, joy, peace, long suffering.
Wow, give them another round of applause. Yes. Right? Wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's so evident. One of my favorite stories is about John Lennon, as he refers to his childhood, and he says that his mother told him from the very beginning of his life that the secret of life was happiness. And so when he went into first grade, the teacher gave an assignment to all the children, what is the secret of life? And John wrote, happiness. And the teacher said, John, you don't understand the assignment. And he said to her, you don't understand life. Yes? The secret to life is happiness. That is the key to our well-being. That is the key to, in my mind, the deeper fundamental growth of new thought within you. That you are the individuation of spirit. You're the PR team, you're the campaign, you're the marketing power of what spirit is. In your self-reliance, happiness is almost a given once you accept that as your call. Yes? At my first high school reunion, the 20th, stay with me now. It was interesting because in reflection after, I realized, including me, we talked about where we lived, if we were married, or how many times, or if we hadn't, or whatever, and how big our garage was, or if we had a third garage for our golf cart, or if we lived in a gated community, et cetera, et cetera. But in reflection, I thought, no one talked about how happy they were. Wow. So at my next high school reunion of 40 years, stay with me now, I received the award the most unchanged. Hold on. I know you won't believe that. Neither did I until I understood what they were talking about. They were talking about I was the most similar in appearance to the way I was in high school. I still recognize myself in the mirror, but I'm not going to do that talk today. The point is, what were both of those ideas based upon? Appearances. Appearances rather than inner evolution, rather than all the things that happen within us as we are integrating constantly the light and dark in our lives and emerging forth with more energy, more youth, and more vitality than we have ever witnessed in our beingness, you see. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, with the new phone systems, everything's autotype. You really don't want to send a text unless you check the autotype. Some things I have received, I'm like, they can't mean that. You know what I'm saying? I'm married. Okay, that's not what you meant. And it's interesting because it's so important. It almost takes more time to proofread the autotype than it would to just pick up the phone and call. Why does this matter? It matters because if we are practicing each week what we say we are, that is the same with the affirmations that are leaving your throat chakra in the presence of your I am, is that you want to recheck proof your auto affirmation because you watch your words, not just on Sunday, not when you're in front of people or dressed up, but all the time. And as someone so lovingly reminded me the other day, the universe does not take what you mean with a sense of humor. So when you say, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just be single the rest of my life, the universe doesn't go, Tammy's just kidding. The universe goes, you're my beloved Tammy with whom I'm well pleased. Single it is, baby girl. Single it is. You understand that? And it's very important to spend the time before it comes out of our mouth because we cannot take it back. It's been done. Are you with me? It has been stated into the law. Yes? Yes. So, it's interesting about happiness because people will debate me and say, well, happiness is understood. Well, being abundant is understood. Being abundant is natural. It's innate. It's what we are designed for in our intelligence. However, how many people do you know that have told you this week they are very far from abundance? So just because something is understood does not mean it stands under our awareness, you see. And so happiness is a value. One of my most important values for me and for BB is, do you laugh? Is your fundamental belief system about happiness. Because if that's not it, the world has things, life has things, people have things, but at the end of the day, I want to end my day in joy with my fundamental blessing of happiness. At every dinner table, you ought to say, what have been your happiest moments today? Practice with me. What have been your happiest moments today? Little being, little love, miracle. What was your happiest moments at school? It's fundamental to not think it's understood because I don't know about you, but have you been to the mall or been places even beyond the mask? Where is there enough happiness, you see? And happiness is not overly promoted. You're not going to see a lot of commercials if promoting happiness. Why? Happiness doesn't sell drugs. Happiness doesn't sell advantages. Happiness doesn't sell products because when you are self-reliant, You understand intuitively what you need and do not need, and you are not guided and herded to the prescription counter necessarily. Now, please do not go home and tell somebody that I said that pharmaceuticals are bad, you should never take them. Please, that's incorrect information. What I am saying is happiness creates an energy. Politics can't give you happiness. Religiosity can't give you happiness, not lasting. Preachers can't give you lasting happiness. Being in love in the very beginning when it's so woo-woo and you can't sleep and you can't live without them and you say blah, 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 can't ultimately give you happiness unless there's the understanding within your core of self-reliance to your Creator. That is where the core of your happiness lies. And that is where, to me, there's a miss in New Thought teaching, because this was fundamental to the 1800s, to those of you that are scholars, of all the leaders in New Thought. And then you have Norman Vincent Peale, and then you have the brilliance of Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to get you to be something else. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to get you to be something else is the greatest accomplishment. It's the greatest accomplishment. So when I looked at data that had been given to me by my surroundings, without blaming, but with realization, I realized that one of the things that was a culture thing to my family is that we were taught, whether we were asking for a glass of milk because we actually thought that was good for you then, I'm going to stick to subject. We were taught that if you didn't say it correctly and you didn't ask for it right, then you would tell whomever you were asking, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." We have a true disconnect in our culture, especially with little girls, that we teach them to say, "I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry." And in that awareness, the interesting thing is you can see adults, grown-ups, like walking down a hall. The hall's made for several people, just so you know. But they'll see you coming down the hall too. You may have never met them, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Excuse me, what are you sorry for? What is that? It's the autotype, it is the affirmation, is it not? So I taught Miracle from the time she was 2.5 years old to say, "I apologize." It doesn't mean that we sometimes do not need to correct a behavior or a moment or an experience, but I taught her to say, "I apologize." And it was as precious as the day is beautiful, because to see this little girl say, "I apologize." So when we went for orientation at school, she said, "Mrs. House, my name is Miracle. I do not say I am sorry. I say I apologize. I apologize." Now, why is this important? Right? Because of claiming a space of your life so you can understand the assignment. You are not here in life to be sorry. You are here to be your greatest sense of self. So there's that space of that, is there not? There's that energy of that. The other thing in Ask and It Is Given that it says so clearly in so many words is you never burn a bridge. You never burn a bridge. Even though you may outgrow someone or outgrow something, you, in your own integrity, you never burn a bridge, right? Because you never know, as you change in your vibration, an experience changes in its vibration, you may find that it comes and meets you again with a whole different experience. So you always keep the doors and the windows of your life, most of all your heart, open. It fascinates me when I talk to people and they say all the people they don't like. Because they've certainly, in one level, discerning, not judging, they have named all the aspects of themselves that they do not like. Right. The other thing is what you do not like, as in asking it is given. What did she say? What did Abraham say? What you focus on, you become. So when you're still 80, talking about the anger that you have and what you didn't like about your parents, hello, could we tell the difference? No, because you have become that. You become what you hold in as a lower vibration of what you do not and have not made peace with and found your happy place. Right. What you do is your karma. What they do, as I've said many times, is theirs. Right? So there's that. The other piece of life, when you're talking about ask and it is given, is this still interesting to you? Because they'll let me have a few more minutes, but I don't need to go on and on unless you go, yes, it's good, okay, or not. You don't have to say it's good. Just say I'm with you. I mean, whatever. Anyhow, autotype. I think something that helps many of us as original thinkers is when we put things in a frame of reference. 80% of my day is happiness related. 20% are the things I need to deal with underneath. Yes? 80% of my life is new thought and manifesting and focusing on what is and the new evolution of my life. The 20% is often that which is passing behind me. The 20% is it's still here, but the 80% is all the one that is overwhelming, encompassing all of the essence of who I am. Right? Right. I was talking to a loved one this morning. She's in the process of diagnosis. And I said, please remember, a diagnosis is based on averages. You are an individuation of spirit. You are an individuation of spirit. Don't let the name of the diagnosis start telling a story for you. Because what did I just say? That Ralph Waldo Emerson said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. And like I told her, think of the word COVID. It's become such a word. It's the modern day word. And some people have COVID. They quarantine. They use wisdom. They stay at home. And they'll say, I didn't have any symptoms. And other people say, I was just telling this woman this, other people have COVID, they have lots of symptoms, they go to the hospital, they get better, and the story goes on. And I'm not wanting to debate COVID, I'm simply saying, of course it's real, but I'm also saying it is the word, and it affects people differently according to their own soul path, is what I'm saying. Do you follow me? So when you're looking at your 80 of empty pages, what is possible, then that is yours for the taking. The other thing that I do in my mind, I used to do it a lot out loud, but I draw a line through an imaginary sheet of paper. And on the left side, what I have control over, and on the right side, what I have no control over. And what I'll tell you is, the long list is on the right side. And the short list is what I have control over. And usually the biggest thing is to go inside, do some autocorrect, and line back up to the greatest essence of the individuation of God. So I may hear beyond outside noise. So I may see beyond visualization, but to go deeper into, I know what I know intuitively, bring it on. Yes, you see. One of the funniest thing, it's kind of National Miracle Day, but it's appropriate to each and every one of us. You go memory. And so they'll read a book okay? And by the afternoon, she just tells her mom, happy to say, oh. And so I know, wow, right? Yeah. And so she has this recent book that is Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a white dog looking at me. White dog, what do you see? I see a purple horse looking at me. Well, see, I've heard this 2 or 3 times, right? I've heard her say it. And so on purpose, when I'm with her, I'll say, oh, let's do that book. Brown bear, what do you see? A green duck looking at me. She'll go, it's not a green duck. It's a yellow duck. I'll go, yellow duck, what do you see? A brown dog looking at, it's not a brown dog. Why do I do that? Because I want her to instill this awareness to question what is. I want more John Lennons in the world that say, I understand what I need to understand, and maybe it doesn't fall within your realm. I am not wanting to confuse her. I am wanting her to feel comfortable among authority to say, this is not how it goes. This is not what is. Because at the end of the day, to be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment you can ever have. As it says in the book, your job is not that you came here to fix the world. That's what we teach in ILI. The soul's mission to awaken the heart of the world. And part of that is that it doesn't mean we don't contribute, it doesn't mean we don't do outreach or send gardens of food to other countries or down the road or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But your entire life isn't about fixing a world. It's about bringing your wholeness to the world so that you can see a view of the world that perhaps the world hasn't been broken all along. Perhaps it could have been you. And that is exactly what it is in consciousness, because when you feel angry, you think, oh, there's a lot of people, they're just so mad, they're so upset. Well, when there's this, there's that. Oh, there's so many people that are brokenhearted. Are you brokenhearted? It's the difference between knowing what to discern and knowing what to judge. Allow your mind to auto-check all the things for your abundance of who you are. Thank you for coming today. Thank you.
Reverend Nicole. And thank you again. I love that. Yellow duck, what do you see? We're going to celebrate our abundance and prosperity right now. And I'm asking all of you, when you have a bill or a mortgage payment coming through the mail, what are you seeing? Are you saying, no, seriously. Think about how you create your own reality. Years ago, I spoke to Ron and I said, when there is a bill in the mail, let's jump up and down with joy that the universe, that God trusts us enough to go out and earn a living and work and love on people. So we have this house. Like, wow, God gave me credit for my mortgage, right? And that's where we're going to keep ourselves all the time as we're getting ready to give here. Money, Ernest Holmes says, what does money have to do with spirituality? Well, money is nothing but a piece of paper, but it is the understanding of the manifestation, the invisible manifestation of abundance. So as we come together in this beautiful word that we are, as Reverend Temple shared with us, what are we seeing? What are we seeing? Because when we are practicing ask and it is given from Abraham, we know what we focus on is what we are realizing in our lives. So as we can celebrate First Unity, open your heart to know that it is in the giving that is circulating, not the money, the energy of love and happiness. I'm circulating happiness. As I spoke with my husband years ago, and he is still doing it. He writes the check, and he writes joyfully, always. I think he's been doing that for 30 years. I joyfully give. Because remember, we're just circulating this. When we're in that mode, get into that habit of recognizing I give joyfully. It's a flow of giving, receiving. What I put out comes back. My thoughts come back to me. Whatever it is, whatever the energy is. So let us take the time now to give. Give from your heart. And remember that we have text to give here at First Unity. Makes it very easy. There's a little yellow heart. But let us open our hearts as we say, take your blessing, your offering, and say, Infinite Spirit, divine love and light, infinite God within me, I know the truth of my being, that as I circulate happiness, peace, joy, harmony, I allow my gifts to circulate back, and saying the abundance of God is my infinite source. I now open my mind and my heart to give and receive all God's good, all God's prosperity, all God's abundance. As God is my source, all things are possible, and so it is. So it is. Thank you.
Your love is lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love keeps on lifting me, keep on lifting me higher and higher. I said your love keeps on lifting me higher and higher. Listen, now once I was downhearted. Disappointment was my closest friend.
we're just going to lift right up on out of there, aren't we? Yes, we are. Whew. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful Sunday to be here. Yes. So, it's Living Green Market today, too. So outside, I know Barb Burger's making some fruit smoothies, and the kombucha people are here. So make your way right out there to under the green tent, under the purple tent for Living Green as you leave. So it's going to be great. Spirit Expressing next week is our final week, our 7th week. The color is white or light violet or lavender. So you can choose. If you're one of the people that say, I don't wear white after Labor Day, then you can wear lavender or violet. So wear whichever color you want, and it'll be our final day of Spirit Expressing. Also, next Sunday, right after service, immediately following service, there's going to be a book signing out in the lobby, Mayhem to Miracles. Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas will be signing, Reverend Saunders Hitt, Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes, and Barbara Bertuzzi. They're all authors in that book, and they will be out signing copies in the lobby. And then at 2 o'clock, Rob Rowan will be here. Rob was a longtime member of our community. He's coming back to share with us his book, Defining Moments. He will be out in the D'Alessandro Chapel at 2 o'clock for a talk and a book signing as well. And then at 2:30, right here in the sanctuary, we have a memorial service for Reverend Don Sandin, Minister Emeritus here at First Unity for so many years. So we hope that you will come and join us for that memorial service. Then we have our Spirit Expressing grand finale. Our banquet ball and silent auction will take place on October 29th. That's a Friday. So make sure you get your tickets for that, because they're going, but we need to know how much food we're going to have. So if everybody waits till the last minute to buy their ticket, we got to have enough food. So make sure you get your tickets so that we can get the good food count for the banquet. Then on November 6th, we have our Mind, Body, Spirit Expo coming up. If you want to be a vendor, go ahead to firstunity.org/expo and get signed up, because there are a few spots left for speakers, and there are a few spots left for readers, and a lot of spots left for vendors. So come on out and see us. And then we have our artist, Dee Drake, is here with her own collection in the hallway. So it will be for sale at the box office. You can get tickets to the Spirit Expressing Ball. You can get your artwork all right out there at our box office. And Spice Routes is open, so as you go out, make sure that you go into Spice Routes for a beautiful brunch buffet. And I have a surprise announcement. November 18th, Wanda Nero Butler is presenting her Oh Give Thanks concert, but this year it's not here in our sanctuary. This year it is at the Palladium Theater downtown. So on November 18th at 7 o'clock is our Oh Give Thanks celebration, a community in gratitude. You can get tickets now at the Palladium website. And if you have any questions about that, you can come to the box office and we'll help you get your tickets and order those tickets through the Palladium. There are a limited number, I think 100, of VIP reserved seating that's right in front of the stage, and then all the rest of the 800 are general admission. So get your tickets early so you can get those close up and personal. And then make sure as you go out also, Cindy Zontek will be right out there to take your offerings for the silent auction. So if you haven't given her something yet, I'm expecting you to stop by and let her know. Okay? Gift basket or painting or a service. Whatever you have to offer, because this is going to be a major fundraiser for First Unity Spiritual Campus. Thank you.
Stand and help us sing the peace song.
Now there
begins right here and right now. Let us affirm together our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
For God is amazing.
All the time.
All the time.
God is amazing.
God bless you, everyone.
Thank you.